Spectacular light show there across parts of New Jersey. Well, we do have, unfortunately, more storms to talk about as we go through this July weekend, the last one, by the way, of July. Thanks for joining us here on the AccuWeather Network. We've seen rounds of flooding, unfortunately, occurring across various cities in the U.S., including places like Chicago, and we're still keeping an eye on some of the storms out there today. Let's get you going with a look at the satellite and radar across the nation. You can identify here where those thunderstorms are, Missouri into Iowa as well as Illinois, and yes, Chicago, you're on the threat again today for more thunderstorms. Meanwhile, the boundary kind of broken here, but hangs out to sea as dry air works into New England. Should be a gorgeous day there, but not all of us will be staying dry in the Northeast. Meanwhile, off towards the south, more Gulf moisture kicking around Louisiana and Texas. That'll help to keep those temperatures from getting too high in some locations. And thunderstorms in Minnesota and North Dakota, they're just getting going. There's going to be a lot more action as we head into the end of the weekend, too. Right now, the numbers across the nation do hold on to the 90s, or I should say this afternoon, rather. We'll be in the 90s of the nation because this is where the thunderstorms are currently. You can see the action here holding on across Missouri, Illinois, even parts of Indiana. Some gusty winds, mostly heavy rainfall. Off towards the southeast, it's been about the heavy rainfall. We've had a lot of heavy rain recently through northern Missouri. The last of that finally letting up, and we will get into a at least drier pattern through the afternoon. Not to say that everyone in northern Missouri will stay dry, but I think a lot of that though shows the heat is going to start to take over. So while we are talking about the storms, we are going to start to find more and more heat building. And just south of where we expect those thunderstorms today is where we have heat advisories, excessive heat warnings. Like I said, to the north, though, where those thunderstorms are, it's going to curb the heat a little bit. You can see Chicago 80. We still have some thunderstorms out there, but they've moved out of the Great Lakes region. They've pushed their way into cities like St. Louis, and there's going to be more activity building late across North Dakota. And storms here sliding their way eastward through cities like Chicago throughout the day today. It doesn't really quiet down until we get into tonight. That's when that dry air starts to take hold. Maybe a complex that's going off towards the north, but the bigger story will be the energy that builds here towards the west through the Dakotas into tomorrow morning. And that's going to kick up more thunderstorms, unfortunately, as we go throughout your Sunday afternoon and right into Sunday night. Those will really take off here, I think, across the northern tier of the nation, which is why we do have a moderate risk for severe weather. We're highlighting that. I think a little bit of that winter magic might be needed to cool us down, but today we've got thunderstorms that'll cool you down in spots. However, it'll also slow you down. Chicago dealing with some heavy rain from thunderstorms, so major delays due to the risk for flooding. We still have those afternoon thunder. AccuWeather real field temperatures have impacted millions across a wide stretch of the nation in recent days, and that kind of making a case there for winter, and it's going to be a long ride here, unfortunately. Across the southeastern U.S., we do have this high pressure system settling in, which means the AccuWeather real field temperatures go up as the air temperatures go up as well. And the number's not too bad here. If you look towards the thunderstorm areas, there's easily over 105 degrees, and that'll continue too through some parts through the south central U.S. Venturing then into tomorrow, not much changes here. We still are looking at triple-digit heat in a city like Charlotte, record-challenging highs in Charleston, and off towards the west, while we have the thunderstorms mixing in, it's still hot and humid for so many locations. AccuWeather real field temperatures yet again pushing well into the triple-digit range, so please make sure you're using some caution, staying hydrated, and taking it easy as records challenged will continue into Monday. When temps unfold, and it's important to know that wherever you live, wherever you work, wherever you're going to school, you know the risks of if you are in a floodplain and where that water will rise quite quickly. And that's true too along your drives to and from work, for example. You want to make sure you know where those low spots are because it only takes a few inches here. We're talking 6 inches that can sweep you off your feet if it's moving. 12 inches actually carries a car downstream, and 24 inches carries away most large vehicles, including box trucks, for example. And remember that if you're driving at night, it's even harder. Summertime, and as we cruise to the end of July, at this point we'd expect some triple-digit heat through cities across Texas and parts of Kansas and Arkansas and Oklahoma. But as you can see, we are still waiting on that. Dallas 99, we have 98 in Waco, so that's been keeping things hot is going to continue to keep things hot into the upcoming week. However, it's also going to start to shift its way back a little bit. One thing to note, though, even if the air temperatures don't quite reach that triple-digit mark on the mercury, we will find that the AccuWeather real field temperatures, when you factor in the humidity, get there. Across the southeast, across the southern U.S., I should say, it's 105 or higher. So this is why you need to use some caution. Make sure you're staying hydrated as you head throughout the day, all across the southern U.S., even extending into the northern plains. Transitioning then into Monday, we find those